Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I still have a couple of hours remaining of this year's Valentine's Day, and I would like to take this opportunity, this chance if you would, to say thank you to every fan of Descendants and Zombies who have chosen to spend the remainder of their Valentine's Day, pretty much all day throughout today. People have been watching my videos. The views go up by 100 views every couple of hours. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you guys have shown this YouTube channel and how you've been with me from the very first video, the very first moment that I ever shared an opinion or I spoke on Descendants and Zombies, because I wanted to represent you guys as your voice. And you guys obviously saw something special in me. So I would like to take this opportunity to wish everybody the greatest Valentine's Day that you could possibly ever have. I know sometimes it's really hard for a lot of people out there because they can never seem to find trust in somebody or find somebody to love, but everybody does eventually find that one special person. So from wherever you hear my voice today or wherever you're watching this video from, thank you so much for choosing to spend your Valentine's Day with me. It has been such a huge honor for me to spend Valentine's Day with you and to share with you my story about how I was a fan of Descendants and Zombies, as I do every day. Because I feel as if we can never have enough opportunities as YouTube content creators to create the content that you guys have come to know, love, and appreciate, certainly appreciate, if anything, through the years. And I've always taken this time to relate to fans, because I love relating to you about my stories about being a Disney fan, because I've been a fan of Disney for over 35 years, and that's a really long time to a lot of you. Many of you have never been alive that long, but I've been a fan of Disney for over 35 years, and I've experienced a lot. I've experienced everything that a fan should experience or have the right to experience, and I've always had an opinion on everything that I've ever been a part of. And having this chance to be a part of something so special as Descendants and Zombies as a universe that you guys welcome me into, it has been the greatest honor of my life. And I know that I will never forget any of you for how much you've meant to this YouTube channel and how much you've meant to my heart. You guys will forever and always hold a very special place in my heart for always hitting my like button. Because for every video that you ever upload, there's always 3 or 4 people who love Descendants and Zombies with all of their heart, and they see the good in your videos and what you're trying to put out there. And they will always hit your subscribe button, they'll always hit your like button, showing their love and support, because that's all they ever know. They know that they love these characters like Zed, Addison, of course Red, Chloe, Mel, and Evie. You guys have held a special place in your heart for these characters for forever. And when you see somebody talking about it and sharing with you their story about how they may be a fan of it too, that's all you've ever known, is that, you know, these videos are so cool, they're so relatable, and that's all I've ever wanted to be a part of. To be a part of something special with each and every one of you, while giving you hope that indeed there is a future coming and it's going to happen for Descendants and Zombies. Many of you who have clicked on this thumbnail have seen the original cast of Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, cast of the past, cast of the present, and that's why you clicked on it. That's why you're here. It's because you're a fan of Descendants and Zombies and you remember how much this cast has meant to all of our lives. Not just to the show Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires and the contributions they made to it, but to each and every one of our lives collectively, because we took something special away from Meg Donnelly's story, because she not only shared it as the character Addison, she felt very connected to you and felt as if she could tell you anything. And that's what I admired so much about Meg Donnelly through the years, was that she would always open up her heart to each and every one of you, regardless of how people may have felt about her. And I know people have felt very differently about Meg over the years, but she is somebody who I've always wanted to give a profound amount of credit and show an undeniable amount of respect for, because I always saw something special in her. I'll tell you a little story. The first time I saw Meg Donnelly was in the holiday celebration of 2017's Disney holiday celebration. They were promoting Zombies, because you have to give Zombies and Descendants probably 3 or 4 months of promotion prior to its initial release. So whatever the release date is, you can expect 3 or 4 months of promotion. And I remember how excited she was to share with you the story of this character that she was going to bring to life in Zombies. Of course, herself and Milo Manheim were the leads of the original Zombies franchise, and undoubtedly for over 8.5 years they would hold a very special place in our hearts for how much they would mean to it and how much they would share their emotions with each and every one of you, because you guys felt connected to their story. And especially in Zombies 2, which we are honoring today, their love story became tested for the first time ever because of how much of a contribution werewolves would eventually go on to make and mean to the Zombies franchise. Addison struggled for many, many years with trying to find her place in the world, and never more so by the release of Zombies 2, because Zed really wasn't acceptant of how she had a history with werewolf ties, and because she was tied in with the werewolves, she struggled with, trying to find her place in the world. And eventually, what he realized that he should do is help her with that. And I think that a lot of guys could learn from the value of the story of Descendants of Zombies, especially on a day like today, Valentine's Day. If you haven't made that phone call to a girl that you love, shout out to every guy out there. If you haven't made that phone call to a girl that you've had a crush on for what feels like forever, or you haven't told that you love today presents you with the perfect opportunity to do just that. Pick up the phone, call a girl that you may have had a crush on for forever, and let her know how you feel by just simply saying the words "I love you," because the words "I love you" go farther in this lifetime, and I think a girl would really appreciate it, because all a girl's ever wanted to do is represent the people around her that she surrounds herself with, and to make everybody around her in her life happy. And I think the more that people understand that and can really relate to a girl, I think relationships would work out for the better. They would turn out for the better. I think that a lot of people jump to conclusions about how a girl may be feeling or what she may be going through, and I think that's where a lot of relationships are misunderstood. And I think in Zombies 2, that was really brought to the forefront of the script, and that's why people fell in love with it, because even with how Zed was in doubt of her, he never quit on her. He wanted to help her make sense of what was going on in her life, what she was feeling around her, because she was feeling all these emotions, and then by Zombies 3, of course, she had ties to aliens. It seemed like she had a little bit of everything in her. And I think that a lot of people believed in her story so much, and that's why we became so immersed and felt so appreciative of this story, because I can't lie to you guys, this story really did touch my heart for just how innovative and how deep the script became, both deep and emotional on times. I can never remember a script that was this deep with emotion that was found in the zombie script, quite like Zombies 2 and eventually Zombies 3, and then Zombies 4 just stole the show for me, really stole my heart and really ran away with it, because it was a beautiful story about how Zed and Addison realized that they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together more than anything else in the world. And I think that millions of people, because by the time Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires was released, millions of people fell in love with that story and just wanted Zed and Addison to really close this one out by spending the rest of their lives together. I have never wanted to say goodbye to your favorite characters. I've always wanted to be a part of something special, having everything to do with them. I've always wanted to honor their legacies, and I've always wanted to ensure that their legacies will be left behind. Because the thing is, when you leave behind a legacy, you've really cemented your place in history. And it may have everything to do with how I've always wanted to leave behind a legacy of my own. And when I was 20 years old, I had no idea how I was going to do it, because I've been broadcasting on YouTube ever since the age of 13. And that was forever ago, many moons ago. And that was during generations that were captained by Sailor Moon and her popularity, and how everybody was so crazy about Sailor Moon from at least 1995 to 1998. And shows like Boy Meets World, which would go on to steal our hearts every Friday night as part of the TGIF block, with a new episode of Boy Meets World premiering every Friday, because we couldn't wait to see what was happening in the lives of Corey and Topanga, Ben Savage and Daniel Fishel, who will ever, forever, always hold a very special place in my heart. I would never have been able to create the content that I do without each and every one of you, and that's something you guys have got to know for forever and always. I have felt so appreciative of these moments that I've had the honor of sharing with each and every one of you. So if I was ever going to be a part of these conversations about your favorite characters and your favorite moments, such as Zed and Addison's favorite moments, Red and Chloe's favorite moments they've shared with each other for forever, because they seemingly have been there for each other every step of the way, and that's something I can never seem to show enough appreciation for when it comes to the friendship between Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, because they still have a long way to go. They are only 20 years old, and they are still achieving so much in their lives. Even with how much they've achieved, they still have a long way to go. And I think we can find time in appreciating that, because every single person who felt connected or drawn into this story always and forever took something special away from it. And I really appreciate you guys for believing in this franchise as much as what you have, because over 10 years ago I started talking about Descendants of Zombies. I really put myself out there, and I was very vocal about how these stars have been being treated in relationships and how they were being treated by the media, because the thing is, they all have hearts that beat. And the reality of life is you can only hurt a person's heart so much without, feeling sympathetic towards them. And I really believe that if the people they were involved with would have treated them more fairly, they would not be so much in doubt of themselves. That's the only issue that I had with it. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to create really nice videos and really put it out there that it's never really any reflection on them as people, how people who they may have been involved with in relationships may have felt about them. And I know a lot of really unnecessary rumors have begun because of it, and people feel very differently about that. But I think what outshines that is every fan of Descendants and Zombies who have forever and always never quit on Quality Control, have been there for Quality Control every step of the way. Because the secret of my life is I love seeing your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars having fun. I love seeing your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars appreciating the moments they share with each and every one of you. If I was Quality Control's best friend, I would appreciate the fact that she would take time out of her day every night to call me and tell me how she feels about the moments that she shared with each and every one of you. Because once you do that, you're able to relate to somebody in a way that you never thought possible or never could imagine. And that's the only thing that I've ever wanted to do, is relate with both you and the stars of Descendants and Zombies and understand and certainly appreciate them for who they are as people. Because behind the camera, when the lights go out and the camera is turned off, behind that camera, they are just like each and every one of us, who experience every emotion that you could ever imagine, that feel undescribably about things they may be having to deal with. Because I know that there's a lot of pressure that goes with always being in the limelight, always being in that spotlight, which oftentimes is given to the same 4 or 5 people because of their rarity or their net worth or their dollar value, which never really has made a whole lot of sense to me. A person's figures never tell me about how, fans feel about it, because a 7-year-old girl could tell me more about how she feels about Descendants of Zombies far more or far better or far more effectively than any critic out there has ever put their thoughts together about Descendants of Zombies. Because as far as I'm concerned, a critic doesn't know the first thing about Descendants of Zombies and the value of these characters who have found their way into these beautiful stories like werewolves and aliens, which eventually became vampires, that will forever and always hold a very special place in our heart. And for those of you who believe this story is far from over, perhaps you should continue on believing in that, because I think we've all taken something special away from the story and both the music, which comes together so perfectly and really has made everybody feel a part of something so special. And that may be just me and how I feel about it, because I know there are a lot of people who feel very differently about Descendants of Zombies who have said this or that. That never really has made a whole lot of sense to a whole lot of people. I got to be honest, I really hear you guys. I hear how you feel. I see the emotion coming from you about how critics have felt about Descendants of Zombies. And you guys, I have forever believed, have deserved far better reviews about Zombies and Descendants, far better than anyone could ever make when it comes to sharing opinions and stories with you. Because if I was just to sit here and talk about Descendants of Zombies, what does that tell you about me? And how I really feel about Descendants of Zombies. If I just tell you my favorite character was Nova Bright, or my favorite character was Addison Wells, what does that tell you about me and how I really feel about them? How I feel they deserve better treatment, how I feel they deserve to be better looked at. The thing is, a lot of people just, go in depth about this franchise, and they really never really go in depth about it. They just tell you how they feel. And I think that that's what develops a really good understanding between yourself and your audience, when you can appreciate what they want to see more of and what they want to hear you talk about. And when you give back to the Descendants and Zombies universe, you've really got something special to hold on to and forever and always believe in. And I like to believe that we shared in and we created something special for every fan of Descendants and Zombies, whoever wanted to be given a chance to believe in something special. It's really a remarkable feeling, and an undescribable one at that, when you know that you've touched the heart of every fan of Descendants and Zombies. Because every night, with dusk behind me tonight, there is always that one person out there that loves Descendants and Zombies with all of their heart. So because there's always that one person who loves Descendants and Zombies with all of their heart and comes through every single time to represent you and let you know how they feel, that's what makes these videos worth it in the end. By the time every conversation comes to its end every day, like we're about to see now, the thing is, someone always takes away a greater appreciation for Descendants and Zombies and is given hope that something special could happen for them because they want to see the next chapter of the story and how it unfolds, or what's going to happen for Victor and Nova, Malachi Burton, and Freya Sky's characters who will go on to be cherished, forever honored, and celebrated. Because if there's one thing I'm going to ensure and see through is that your favorite stars of Descendants and Zombies are forever honored and they're forever celebrated because they deserve to be celebrated and they forever should be honored. The thing is, I have never believed in any room of any conversation being devoted to criticism, either just general criticism or constructive criticism, because no form of criticism is really a nice form of criticism. The least we can do as YouTubers is understand you, hear your voices, read your comments, and give you what you want. And that is hope for the foreseeable future that indeed there is one coming for Descendants and Zombies. It's going to happen. Because I don't think we should really buy into nor drink the Kool-Aid of your favorite critics out there who review Descendants and Zombies. But then again, who is everybody's favorite critic? And who is everybody's favorite YouTuber? It has become me. Because the thing is, I relate to everybody, because the thing is, I understand you, I understand how you feel, and I hear you about how you want a new chapter for Descendants and Zombies. So together we can come together and we can really do something about it, because our contributions to Descendants and Zombies are truly spectacular. They are nothing short of spectacular, and each and every single night we have these conversations before the sun sets. It gives somebody something special to hold on to and really believe in. And because you guys have felt so passionate about Descendants and Zombies for what feels like forever, that means the world to me. That this YouTube channel was able to connect with you, bring you together as a solemn community, and give you something special to believe in. Like the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour concert special coming up on February 19th. I believe that's the date for that. And of course, Descendants 5 with Wonderland, which we are still forever in a dream waiting on a release window for. But regardless of what the release window is happening between now and next summer, I think we can get there and we can celebrate it together, because there is no far more effective way of celebrating your favorite characters than by being a part of something special, kind of like how you guys welcome me into your niche, which, by the way, thank you so much for having done and allowed me to be a part of, and by encouraging people that indeed there is something special forthcoming for Descendants and Zombies. Again, everybody, I would like to take the opportunity to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there tonight. Whatever you're going through, everything will be okay. And it's been my honor to spend Valentine's Day this year with each and every one of you, to give you guys something special to hopefully believe in, and to give you more of a reason than perhaps ever before to hit my subscribe button and continue on to follow your passions. Because once you follow your passions as a fan of Descendants and Zombies, that is something to truly be honored and something that we will never ever forget, because together we truly created something special for every fan of Descendants and Zombies who may have ever believed in these franchises, and that's what makes these moments so special for being truly undeniable. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time. If you ask me, I have no idea how it happened or why it happened. Everybody just obviously saw something special in this YouTube channel, because I've always taken something special away from every production that I've ever been a part of. And having the chance to have been a part of this franchise means more to me than words could ever say. I'm truly breathless and left at a loss for words every single time that I've ever compiled a video, because I may never know what I'm about to say from this haunted house that I feel like I've lived in for forever. But regardless if I live in a haunted house or not, that's what makes these videos so special, is that you guys never know what's coming next. And we never seem to know what the future has in store for Descendants and Zombies. But I think if we ever have had a chance to believe in a future having anything to do with your favorite stars, it comes in the form of Descendants and Zombies and its unpredictability. Because regardless of how these stars may have been made to feel about how they're, acting, or their criteria is never living up to a certain expectation or exceeding a certain expectation, we come together and we outshine that criticism, which makes our time together as fans, and that we really put out there the emphasis on just how important this script has meant to everybody. That's what makes it so worth it in the end. So if you're somebody who has never watched one of my videos before, I would love to welcome you into this program. I would love to welcome you into this journey, and on this journey that we feel like we've been on together forever, because this journey, the way I see it or perceive it, is a long way away from ever having been over. And as long as we continue to cherish these moments that we've shared together as fans of Descendants and Zombies, that's what makes it all worth it in the end. So if you have yet to subscribe here, I would love to see the subscriber count go up on this YouTube channel, because every single time I welcome in a new subscriber, it is such a huge honor for me to welcome you in as part of these conversations and to welcome you in on this unforgettable journey that that we seemingly have been on for forever, because we still have a long way to go. That much further we get every day, but we still have a long way to go because we have yet to witness a release window drop for Descendants 5 Book Wonderland and to have the chance to be a part of something even more special. So for those of you who are going to be checking out the Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide Tour concert special coming up on February 19th, that's this coming weekend, we are going to have a whole lot of fun talking about it, because in the midst of the wake of this premiere, we're going to have a lot of reviews and we're going to have a whole lot of fun as we once again shout out these critics who have made your favorite stars feel like this for far long enough, and we give back something special to the Descendants and Zombies universe. Coming up on Monday, in addition to that, we will celebrate the 8th anniversary of the Zombies franchise when it premiered all the way back so many moons ago, back on February 16th, 2018. We will get to all that coming up on Monday. Once again, happy Valentine's Day to everybody watching. I hope your Valentine's Day was just as wonderful as mine that I got to spend with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for having watched this video, and thank you so much for having believed in Descendants and Zombies with all of your heart. It truly means the world to me that I can connect and relate to so many wonderful people through the power of YouTube and these videos. You have been watching the unofficial Descendants and Zombies podcast hosted by yours truly. It's always and forever been my honor to be here with each and every one of you, and I would love for somebody to subscribe. Thank you so much for having watched this video.